And trust me, all that put together makes it very difficult for this match to be played. But anyway, the players are taking on the game. At halftime, a few chances falling for both sides. And you can say Wakiso got a few from that man, Amos Mwonge, failing to utilize. Emmanuel Okech on the other side had a few chances also, but nothing came by for themselves. At halftime here in Bombo, Onduparaka nil, Wakiso nil. Let's come back with the analysis and more. Don't go away.
Today, because fans have been sparring and sparring them. You remember against URA, they played a good game because they had the 12th man there. If only they had those fans, it would have been a different aspect. But right now they miss them, but they must bear with the conditions. As far as I'm concerned, even Onduparaka is missing the home fans. They need to do something about it. Hamza Kalanzi, his tactics have been spot on in the first half, irrespective of what the pitch is bringing on, but he needs to do something. Amos Mwonge needs to try, and they get a goal in the second half. Yeah, as I'm hinting about it, Tendo can tell us a bit more.
Well, because I'm still trying to analyze what could be happening. A lot is happening, of course. Like we said, it's going to be a moment of half volley situation. You see, everybody who has the ability to control the ball and lift it and take a shot or a clearance is having a field day. Then those who think that the ball has to pass on the ground are having a challenge. And of course, Luinda Ayala there being very spot on, eliminating Senyonjo and Ibrahim Kasule. In this kind of game, you saw the fouls coming in with George Kaddu trying to tackle Jareko. Those moments are very, very dangerous for players who like to have silky feet on the ball, and that is where the danger could have been. But he envisaged, in my opinion, he envisaged that by half time and after the 15 minutes of the break, some of the water will have filtered, and probably the players who can pass the ball can come in the second half.
Is that the reason why he has opted to switch the players.
Yeah,
we saw in the lineup,
Yeah.
Hassan Sanyonjo was supposed to start, and I think Moses Saliro as well, but they are both on the bench. Even Tata Sematimba.
Hassan Senyonjo, Titus Sematimba, Ibrahim Kasule,
Yes.
Moses Saliro,
Yeah.
they had nothing to do in this game because their game is flowing on the ground, and that is the arsenal you need when you have a very, very precious pitch. You see how they maneuver at the Chabagu, and you could see how they express themselves even at Lugogo. So in this kind of pitch, you wouldn't need them, and that is why he opted for Sebofu, Norman Ojik, and of course Sharif Chimboa. Sharif Chimboa has pace. His pace can work there if it is calculated and the ball goes to areas that are a little bit dry. And then Norman Sebofu and Ojik have that half volley element. That is what they are trying to do. And then in the midfield, you have Lugemwa who can cover the defense where they need to be 5 in the back. And then you have Lawrence Bukenya who can man the midfield alone, because there is no football going to be played anyway by Onduparaka in the middle so much. Only he has to connect the ball and send it to Rahmat Senfuka. They are actually playing a streamlined midfield with Senfuka ahead, and then Lawrence Bukenya behind, and then Leti behind. So it's like a line midfield. It's not a triangle, it's not a diamond, it's not even a pivot system with 2 pivot players. It's just a line midfield, just to carry the ball to the next phase, and then hoping that the 3 forwards, one of them can conjure up an opportunity. The same thing is happening to Onduparaka. They have Rashid Yakini manning the midfield, but almost lying in the back. Same way with Ojara. So they have like 5 people in the back. Then Davis Mayanja is almost the antithesis of what Wakiso Giants could do. So him being in the midfield, he is fighting for the balls the same way Lawrence Bukenya fights. So the flashy play will maybe come in the second half, after the pitch has a little bit subsided. If it doesn't, then we expect that kind of tackle. You wouldn't expect a player like Ibrahim Kasule to be in good shape, having gone through that. We've seen Jarieko being tackled left, right, and center, and it's because he tries to be flashy on the ball. A player can use the slippery condition to hoodwink the referee that he did not intend it, and George Kadu is that kind of player who is take no prisoner style. So I think there is nothing like tactics you have to talk about, but only the bravery and ability to play on the half volley. Even that shot, probably on a better pitch, he wouldn't have opted for that. He would have probably waited to get good surface, but he knows that anything can happen. If the ball skids goalwards, it could be a goal. So players like Ojara are enjoying themselves. You wouldn't slide like that on a dry pitch.
Amos Mwange is not playing well, as it was mentioned in the few minutes by the commentator there, because he has not been getting the supply of the midfield. There's Davis Mayanja, Yakin Rashid trying just to tussle in the midfield and ensure that they are not overpowered by the Wakiso Giants midfield. That's why he's not at his best. Yes, he's trying as a striker to get the ball off the defenders, and they are playing the ball on the half volley. So definitely he needs that services of Jarieko on the right and also Okech on the left. Both of them have been trying to get into the middle of the pitch to ensure that they're in the center of the action. What are they going to do in the second half? Maybe the midfield needs a creative player for Onduparaka. Right now, it's the advantage. Remember, the last season, they never lost against Wakiso Giants. So they have that advantage in them. Yes, the results have not been coming their way, but they need that belief again. They have respective players in the pitch. Matthias Mwanga, the captain, Dennis Ojara, Yakin Rashid, and also the striker there, Amos Mwange. I believe if he gets the services, he will deliver. As Dominic Abonga, he played against Bright Stars and he got a goal. At least give those players a few services. From the throw-ins, Okocha can come in with a few crosses, but if you're just going to be defending, it's going to be a disadvantage to the team as Onduparaka. Yes, Wakiso Giants have been spot on. For them, they know this is not their style of play, but they need at least a point or 3 points in this game, and that's what Ayala Luinda is emphasizing on, bringing on those players who are more defensive, helping them keep the shape and composure in the defense, and also the midfield may be intact, but then up front, those changes that he has made, Sharif Chimboa starting, it's okay because he played the last game, and then Norman Ojik playing, that shows you what he was anticipating in this game. It's going to be a duel, a tough tussle. It only needs to be chances created for them to ensure that they get something out of this game. But if not so be, if Onduparaka can get a goal in the second half, I believe they will close it out. But for Wakiso Giants, they are going to go with this rhythm, go away with a point, it will be okay for them. As they are table leaders right now, they will need something going up to when they play the last match. But I believe Tendo, as you hinted about it, Wakiso Giants need to come up with something that will help them win this match.
Yeah, of course they have what they can come out with, but the difference will be, is the pitch going to level it down? If it doesn't, then all they have to do is try to handle this game and go with the point that they can, because in the process of drawing the 3 times Onduparaka have drawn, it has been goalless. So if you attempt to try and score a goal, you are leaving the back line open, and Onduparaka is hungrier in this situation, and it looks like more a God-given opportunity for them to actually get a point or even 3, and if they can get that, then you'll have given them an opportunity into the last home game.
Is Onduparaka going to head towards their 4th draw?
It looks more like it, but there is 45 minutes. Wakiso Giants, if these 15 minutes change anything in the pitch conditions, and if the players that have been rested in the first half come brave enough to manage to play in the patches that are playable, they can actually conjure up a goal. So it's still Wakiso Giants' game to take, because the player that is on the bench for Onduparaka who can change anything is Gaddafi Gadinho. But you wouldn't think that Gaddafi Gadinho can actually maneuver also on a pitch like this. The only difference is he can give the service that GODWIN BUULE is asking to give the strikers. So if he can spread those passes, the longer ones, and stand in the middle there and try to send them, then you'll give them an option, because they have been all coming from the left, from Rashido Kocha. On the right, Jareko has not been given an opportunity, and of course the fullback, the right fullback, Adrico, is not going.
You mentioned a couple of players who have been put out of this game, and James Jareko playing in this game, the first half, is considered a lot of fouls.
In this condition, every time you hold the ball, you are attracting a foul. You are attracting the foul.
And to lose Jareko at this moment, for disposal at Wakiso, they have it. But then on the Onduparaka, they don't have that squad depth for them to ensure that Jareko can get even some free minutes, because he's been playing game after game after game. And you look at their bench, there's some ammunition, but not at their best with the players that are on the pitch. Maybe he just needs to manage himself well in the times and then the games that he gets, just to deliver as possible. But this is a hard one for him, as he has known to be a silky player, good on the ball and also going forward, but the pitch is soggy, muddy. You can see it's been a problem, but the coach, I believe, will conjure up something in the second half to ensure that they get going. And
the tactics have, we've seen John Ayala, because he has changed his tactics, we've seen a couple of times where Apollo Kakogwe has gone forward when George Kadu has taken the throw-ins.
Those throw-ins attract even Lugemwa Leti, because of the height and the aerial presence. They think that they can get in an opportunity, because the forwards might be having aerial prowess, but because of the way they are playing, the sogginess does not allow them to actually attack the balls. It's the defenders who can do that, because that is the way they are defending the long balls. So it's in their element now. They are a little bit more warmed up, and they can actually. Apollo Kagogwe missed an opportunity. You've seen the headers that Ojik got. He could not connect very well.
There was a chance, so I think Kakogwe missed, and that was the most clear chance for Wakiso. The
same thing that happens to Onduparaka when they go forward. Ojara goes forward to try and get onto the to those crosses or those loose balls, and anything can happen. This is a game where a goal can come even if it's scored by the knee. Or even if it touches your nose and it goes
even
in,
the back,
it will be celebrated.
I even saw a fumble from Matthias Mwanga, and I was like, what is happening right now? A mistake was made when playing against Express, and right now he still doesn't have that confidence to make sure that the team can trust him. And it was a missed chance by the Wakiso Giants team, if you can remember that chance. So the goalkeepers too need to be alert in this situation, because like the pitch is slippery, many shots are going to be shot at them. Just your acceptance that I'm not at my best. Let me do what I can do to help the team.
Yes, let's head back to the second half. Onduparaka taking on Wakiso. We'll be back for the end of the match.
To Onduparaka football.
Well, all square at full time, 0-0 it is the final result between Onduparaka Football Club and Wakiso Giants FC. Well, what a game. The two teams have, of course, played for a barren draw, and Onduparaka will feel so much excited simply because they have at least picked a result at their home ground, at their neutral ground. Much as it's not at the Greenlight Stadium, but at least picking a point at the Bombo Military Barracks Playground will be a huge motivation for them ahead of their final game at this very stadium before they do return home in this season. Well, I'll be speaking to the man of the moment, and that has been the defender Dennis Ojara from Onduparaka. Ojara, please come closer. Kongs for the point. You came for 3 points, but you got 1, which isn't bad. For starters, how do you feel after the result?
Yeah, from my side, I feel it's not bad because we were losing. Every game we were losing. But right now, we got a point, and also this point can motivate us for another game which we are going in on Sunday. I think that one is okay for us because also it's like we are playing away, not home, because here is not our home. Just they are putting our home, but it's not our home. Yeah, I'm so happy about that.
For starters, where do you think the problem was in the previous fixtures? Because you lost 4 games consecutively.
Yeah, all about this, we lose concentration because of all about even the game we were playing. We played well. We were playing all the game well, and we got a lot of chances of winning the game. But we are lacking someone who can finish our ball in the net. That's why we are lacking so much. Going forward, what do you think? What do you predict for Onduparaka in the season? Do you think you will survive the relegation because things are not good at all? For me, I'm sure I know that we cannot go back. This team cannot go back, and I know, as myself and my fellow teammate, I know we are going to fight hard to make sure that we remain in the league. That is what we can do, and I know we are going to make it.
Thank you so much, Dennis.
You're welcome.
Yes, and that's Dennis Ojara, the man of the match from today's game, helping, of course, Onduparaka take their point tally to 2. It would have been 4, but 2 points were initially deducted over a FUFA ban. Now we shall be getting back to studios for post-match analysis, and it's a goodbye from me. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Chigozi Brazilian, for that end of the match interview with Dennis Ojara, the man of the match. We were asking questions whether he would be playing up front because Onduparaka needed the goals, but he put up a solid performance at the back, one of the centre backs who is versatile. We rarely see that in today's game, but Onduparaka getting another draw, their 4th draw this season, and this is the first time the match has ended in a goalless draw. The other draws have been 1-1 and 1-1, so today it's been a draw. But my gentleman will tell me which coach has left Bombo happier or satisfied. Tendo.
You saw it in the game itself.
Yeah.
Hamza Kalanzi and his colleagues were a little bit happier because, first of all, the weather helps them disseminate the information that other teams have gotten.
Yes.
Wakiso will pass, and pass. Because of the weather, they could not pass. So they had them where they can easily match them pound for pound, and that is exactly what they did. Of course, they did not get that point just sitting back. they tried moments also to try and score goals, which actually they could not because of their weakness in the striking line. Of course, their story revolves around having Ojara to play in defense and not attack. And of course, the strikers that they have, none of them has stood out to be the top player. The players that they have probably all equal to the same task, and mostly the task is defending, and they have done that perfectly well today. Of course, the weather and the conditions have helped them in one way, so I don't think Ruinda might be happy, but he's not sad at all, because this is a game they could have lost. In these conditions, a team that has been used to playing tiki-taka, this is a game that you can easily lose. So I think the point is well split between the two teams, and of course the sides are evenly matched head to head. So this is the third draw in their 7 meetings. Each team has won twice, so I think it's averagely placed.
Godwin, what about you? This match, we expected some goals, but it's been a very cagey game. The weather has played a big part in both teams not being able to play the way they want to play, particularly Wakiso Giants in the first half. They had more chances with the style of play they opted, and then in the second half they bring on the ball playing players, Hassan Senyonjo, Moses Aliro, Titus Sematimba, Ibrahim Kasule. Wakiso Giants changed. Did it help John Ayala?
Actually, to start with the positivity of Ojara Dennis, the man of the match, he spoke about their survival percentage, and he was positive about it. That's why they put in a spirited performance. The conditions on the pitch were poor, and they deterred Wakiso Giants' style of play. That's why in the second half you saw the introduction of such players, Swiki players, Ibrahim Kasule Baba, Titus Sematimba, to mention but a few. They wanted something out of this game in the later stages of the game, but it never happened. But to go with a 1 point for Wakiso Giants as table leaders right now, that's a big plus to them. And then Onduparaka getting back to drawing ways, they haven't yet got to winning ways. You can say it's a point well earned against the table leaders, because it would have been worse on such a day. So it's up to them to look until the next fixtures, which I know are going to be hard. They're going to have Arua Hill at home, then KCCA, then Vipers, and then they'll be hosting Maroons when they go back to Greenlight Stadium. The only challenge is how they are going to maneuver versus KCCA, because KCCA is going to come in Bombo. As Onduparaka, they started poorly, and right now 8 games on a bounce with no win yet. But the positivity of Ojara Dennis, speaking about it, will survive and will get the points, will get the goals. It's only a matter of time. And I believe in his words. If he didn't believe it, he wouldn't have spoken about it. So I'll go with that for Ojara Dennis to speak about it, and then a point each. It has been okay for this game.
Let's hope that the words come to on the table and results go their way in the coming matches, because he looks confident, Dennis Ojara. A team that is struggling, going up to this point without a win, you come out as one of the leaders in the team and say that you are going to survive. What does Onduparaka need to do to survive in this league? Is it for them as easy as it is to go back to Arua and build their fortress? Is that what they are lacking?
Of course, when they go back, it will be a different story. We know Onduparaka to be a very passionate side, buoyed by the fans, and once the fans are back into the stadium, it will be a very different story. Secondly, when they have the fans, they'll have more money. You cannot doubt the fact that they have suffered for all these games. You don't even imagine where they get the money. It's the fans that are trying to bankroll the team, plus the administration, but they're not earning anything at the gates. And all those home games are money lost. So if they can get back and don't get agitated, the way you see the likes of Arua Hill right now, with those 4 losses on the bounce, you would imagine if they were in the position of Onduparaka, they would still have been banned the same way Onduparaka is. Look at teams like Sports Club Villa, look at teams like Busoga. It's not in someone's DNA if you don't put it in to be decent losers. And of course, the nature of the game is you'll always have someone to blame. So if they have their fans back, they can recompose themselves and try to play better ball. But of course, these are the heroes of the team so far. In this situation, this is where you get to know your real friends. So the players that have been in this time, where they have been dining and staying, because they have been away ever since the season started, staying around nearby to Bombo so that they don't travel a lot, and only traveling when they have real away games. Like the first real big away game is now going to be at Arua, which was normally a stone throw. Today it might not be a derby of sorts, because the Onduparaka fans will get a chance to watch that game finally, but they'll be away, and we know all those games have problems. The problems they had, actually some of them stemmed from that, and then you add that with the KCC challenges that they had, all those points that were docked, and this is a journey that they are trying to get back at. So going back home will be a different story for them, and of course you never know what can happen after playing Arua Hill, then playing KCC and Vipers. You would think they'll have their steel now, and they could have Maroons for the taking, probably, depending. And again, by that time January will be there, they'll be able to restructure their squad. So, and they might do it very well because they have seen now the players they need, and you never know, they can survive with the spirit.
And see the players they don't need, probably, because it happens.
It can still happen, because when you need more players, you need to balance the team sheet. So it is natural in the business. Even the coach might not be needed. You never know. That is the nature of the game. You have just to get used to it. If the administrators think that this is going to be their way, you might see some changes in the technical staff. And of course, at the beginning of the season we thought it would be Aruna Mawa. You never know why he's not on the bench. Probably something happened. Maybe they could sort it out or get somebody else or anything. But I think Hamza Kalanzi has braved him all this time, and the players have braved it, and the only thing they have to do is to manage these 3 games and get a gigantic result, which I don't want to point which one, but with the form of Arua Hill, they can actually eat the biggest frog. And you would think that the Arua Hill result, if they can get it, would be a big boost for them going forward into returning home.
Well, Onduparaka face Arua Hill, who just lost their game against Gaddafi, and then Wakiso Giants go back to Wakiso, are going to host Express, who lost against Bright Stars. Nelson Sekatuka with a double. Wakiso Giants, might they get a win against Express in Wakiso, Godwin?
Definitely. If they try to nullify
Vipers. How sure are you?
Because of the way they play, and their form right now, and their confidence and their mentality, that matters a lot. Express has just lost to Bright Stars, and then also getting a red card in that instant. What cannot happen in Wachisha? The players have the belief. You have Titus Sematimba, Ronald Madoi back in the squad, Samson Chira right now picking up his form. The coach, John Luyinda, hinting at himself that I want to make a name out of myself as one of the best football passing coaches in Uganda. So it's possible. Express are picking up their straws. I thought before the Bright Stars game that maybe Express was picking up their form to ensure that they fight and vie for the title this year. But losing against Bright Stars, who hadn't yet won a game away, you would have thought that it was a bad loss for Express. So right now is Wakiso's chance to take. If Express is going to go to Wakisha, do everything you can to ensure that you consolidate yourself at the top spot. And it's possible with the kind of players that they have. There's no one they cannot beat at Wakisha.
Having seen this game, I think Wakiso Giants can beat Express if it rains.
If it rains?
Yeah, because Express has not won a game when it rains. They have the syndrome of Wakiso Giants. They pass the ball so much on the ground. But today Wakiso has managed to change some personnel. So you think that they know that some players will not play very well. So if it does rain at Wakisha, I think Express will be the disadvantage. But if it doesn't, it will be the best game you'll ever see. Both sides, I think, are the best passing game. Teams then, of course, followed closely by Maroons, and of late the new telepathy of Vipers, although theirs is not that interplay, but they have the telepathy They have the directness.
Vipers is a bit direct.
But when they go forward, they have that telepathy.
I don't see Vipers playing something.
No. It
because
depends.
they pass in the wings.
Yes.
The only quality player that they have in the midfield, taking them forward with those quality ball playing style is Brighton Okani. There's Wakakarimo Tambala and then Zaga. But Zaga, they just look for those outlets.
Yeah, they look for those outlets, but the passes from the wings are very perfect. That if you don't, if it doesn't meet the teammate, you can actually even put it in your own net. So there is that telepathy, and telepathy cannot necessarily mean making short passes. You could even be good at taking long balls, like we see Villa. Villa's balls are long from the back to the forwards, but they are very, very accurate. They don't just hoof the ball up front. They have a direction, and every time you see them playing some ball, but in a different way. So those are the things that you have to study to know how dangerous an opponent can be. Villa on a rainy day are more dangerous because they don't play in the park. You get it?
Yes.
And Wakiso Giants on a rainy day are haphazard. Same way with Express because they have to play on the park. Vipers, if you pass and make the pitch narrow, they are gone. Same way with KCC because they want to use the wings so much. And if you cut out the cross and make their wingers busy, you've actually disembarked in their journey to actually harm you. So those are the few things that I've noticed, and I think the Wakiso Express game, if it doesn't rain, will be the best game we have seen so far this season. Because Express is hungry, Wakiso is now hungry with that draw, because the run they had was putting them in that championship feeling. So with the draw, they are looking behind. BUULE has not played in the previous games. They could come back and try to bridge the gap. Sports Club Villa are waking up from that points deduction with a win against Arua Hill. So you would think it's very close. And Vipers are clawing back actually venomously. Everyone they find, they just sting to death. So I think it's going to be very scary, and it's going to actually make this Christmas time more passionate than it had been. I thought the World Cup will have no competition, but you cannot get your eye off this league now. It's very close and it's very exciting.
Okay, well, that's it. That's all we have time for, my viewers. Thanks for tuning in to FUFA TV, the home of Ugandan sport, where Onduparaka and Wakiso Giants have ended in a 0-0 draw. But there will be more action coming up this week. BUULE taking on Busoga, and on Sunday we'll be having another exciting game where Arua Hill will be hosting Onduparaka, and on that same day, Acholi taking on the West Nile. Yes, that is a big one.
Now, what is going to happen in Arua and northern Uganda?
That is a big one.
Some fans of West Nile are going to. It's a little bit tough. It's going to be divided loyalty.
A lot of action
West
coming.
Nile fans will be away. In either Gulu or Kitgum. And then Onduparaka fans and
that is very, very exciting. Well, that's the action we have for you today. We shall see you next time from us at FUFA TV, the home of Ugandan sport. That was the Startimes Uganda Premier League, the show that we build stars. We shall see you next time. Keep it locked.
Gets it to the hitman! This is not your everyday football drama. It's the return of Startimes Uganda Premier League. New season